Oof. That was a quick save. I almost rolled the outro before the intro. You're breaking shit.
Oh, sorry, man.
For 3 minutes, you're already
Already
broken.
broken stuff. So I can't take him anywhere.
No.
Hello, Chantal.
Hello.
Hey guys, how are you all doing?
Excellent, thank you.
Very
Thank
great.
you for finally joining us. We've managed to get you on. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We talk about you. Well, I talk about you almost every episode. So it's really good to finally actually meet you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Thanks for always mentioning us. Appreciate it a lot. Makes me
Well,
smile
look.
every time. I'm like, he's done it again. He's done it again. Like,
And I don't even get a kickback. And it's But
well, that's
no,
why we had to name that. That's why we named the special
it.
after you.
Named a special after me, the LM release. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm claiming that.
You have been claiming that.
I have been claiming it since I got it. Absolutely. It arrived in mail. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I went back and it's like, I'll still claim it.
Yeah, still claim it.
Yeah.
No one will know.
No.
Just get a white,
No. It'll be
white
fine.
text
Yeah,
and
just
cross it out.
That's it. I just cross it off the back there. Where are we? Cross off the back the actual American. There it is. There. I just cross that out, and it's my release, and I'm quite pleased about that. So you're obviously from Kinglake Distillery. Tick that. Makers of one of my favourites, the O'Grady stand. That is almost. I think that's bottle number 3 that's almost empty. So I will be buying more. And you're in Victoria.
In Kinglake.
Northern Victoria. In Kinglake?
In Kinglake.
Is Kinglake an actual place?
Yeah. It's about an hour sort of northeast from Melbourne.
Right. As a Victorian, I didn't know it existed.
It's the other side of the Melbourne from where you came from, so... And it's only tiny.
Well, so is Colac. And we don't have a distillery, so I should know where Kinglake is.
I was going to say Kinglake has a better ring to it than Colac.
It does. But Toady...
Sounds like a cough.
Toady from Neighbours came from Colac.
Oh, dude. Well, there you go. Claim to fame.
Claim to fame. He came from Colac.
And moving along.
Actually, I did a sales course, and he was actually the person teaching me doing the sales course. So I got his Sam's a bit of a fan because he's English. So I got him to sign an autograph with Todd on it. There you go.
Wow. Sales training from Toady. I mean, he's done everything. So fuck, I hate Neighbours so much. Before we go any further, we need to play a little game called What's in Your Glass? What are you drinking?
We just got this the other day, one of the Scotch Malt Society drinks. So it's the Vibrant Lemon Fizz one. So it's 10-year-old Lemon Fizz. So it's a 10-year-old Speyside second fill ex-bourbon barrel.
Nice.
60.5%. So yeah. So it's nice.
Don't you love their names and their descriptors they have on the bottles?
I know, and you sort of think they're a bit wacky, but then actually when you drink it, you sort of think, oh, actually, you know what, they're right. It does taste like that.
So lemon fizz, can you describe that for me? Because I'm intrigued.
It's lemony and it's fizzy.
Yeah, it says a vibrant nose of lemon sorbet, eucalyptus and cloudy lemonade joined with apple juice and green herbs while dried cranberries meet lemon zest.
Wow.
Very specific too. I mean, not lemonade,
No.
cloudy lemonade.
See,
It does make a difference in the flavour, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's cloudy or not.
Yeah.
I know. What is cloudy?
I mean, there's a difference between 7-Up and Solo. They're both lemonade at the end of the day, aren't they? But
yeah,
one's cloudy and one's clear.
So what are we drinking?
Well,
I need a drink.
I'm going to start with
of the multiple
choices.
The multiple choices of Kinglake
Yeah.
that we have available for us. Which one are we trying first?
Well, I reckon we go
Yep.
the OG.
Yeah.
Grady Stand.
The original.
That's the OG.
Yeah. Very clever.
Grady Stand. So I think it's also the lightest of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably a good place to start, really.
Yeah, I would too.
Was that your first release, Chantal? The Grady?
Yeah. We pretty much really liked ex-bourbon barrels. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, we just really liked ex-bourbon barrels, so that was something we wanted to try and keep a consistent line off. And plus, back then when we were setting up, French oak was already getting quite tricky to get your hands on. So to try and make a consistent line of French oak was going to be a lot trickier than a consistent line of ex-bourbon. So,
right.
And we also, because of our new make, we wanted a barrel that wasn't going to sort of overpower it. So.
Yep. And if I remember rightly, when you started, you weren't just using refill bourbon casks; you were getting them recouped, were you?
Yeah. Down to basically 50-litre casks, just so we could make sure we had it all out by 3 years, or something good enough by 3 years. So
right.
Expensive option, but we didn't want to make anything else like gin or vodka in between to sort of help the cash flow. So we pretty much sold everything we had, and we had like 3 years to make sure there was a whiskey. But we were quite lucky. The first lot of 50s, because 2018 was quite a warm summer, they were pretty much ready in 2 years and 1 day. But ever since 2018, it's taken more like 3.5 years up to 4 years, just because of the colder weathers, or the summers not being as long. I guess it's probably the thing. So
right. So have you seen a consistent change in weather patterns where you are?
Yeah, mainly just the summers not being so long, so therefore everything's taking longer to mature than normal. So Kinglake's a little bit colder, so we're always like 3 to 4 degrees cooler than Melbourne. So
yeah, right.
Makes sense.
Well, this weekend that's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think we're meant some showers though as well. I don't know. I don't look at the weather, just whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So why did you get into distilling, and what possessed you to start a distillery?
Probably Kinglake, really. The property we've got, has a natural spring on it. And I grew up here, so it's always nice to sort of come back to roots. But mainly Kinglake. When we were here, we were just like, this is the perfect place for making single malt whiskey. So we kind of went from there, really. We had some bars over in France. So we were sort of looking at the spirit industry for a little while. Went to America, saw how crazy bourbon was going in all different size distilleries, similar to how Australia went. And then when we came back, we just thought, let's go ahead, let's do it, let's learn. And we did.
Wow. And what was your process for learning? And from when you turned on the still as a licensed, registered, accredited distillery, what was your experience in distilling prior to that?
None, apart from trying to read as many books. But you know what it's like when you try and read books before you've done any of the practical. It just sort of you pick up on bits and then you don't. It's always good to go back. But no, we spent a weekend with Brian from Blackgate Distillery up in Mandarin, and so we learnt most of it because we're off grid. We wanted someone that was just basic. You go around to all these other distilleries and there's pipes and fancy stuff. So we knew we couldn't have all that. So when we heard that Brian was welcoming people up for a weekend, we took that opportunity. So we went up.
Yeah, right. So how off-grid are you?
Completely off-grid. So everything runs on solar, except for the pot still can't run on solar panels. So we've got to use gas and a steam boiler for that.
Right.
So it's an expense, made the setup a bit more expensive, but it just means we can run it. It's very efficient how we run. So our pot still's about 2,500 litres, and we can have that boiling in sort of 50, 60 minutes. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well.
Very, very efficient.
It is quick. Yeah. It's quicker than our electric one. Somewhat.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And when did you start, Chantal? What year did you kick it off, the distillery?
Yeah, so I guess our first lot of barrels went down to 2018, but you often start a little bit before that. We're doing all the planning permits and things. So 2007. But no, the first lot of whiskey was 2018.
Okay.
Ooh, right. So, sorry, it went down in 2018. So you were ready 2 years and a day from there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And started bottling thereon. So, for obviously, this is the 2019 distillation. So you've got a bit of experience by this point.
Yeah.
How did you find the first year of getting to know the still and being happy enough with the product to lay it down?
Yeah, I think the still part, to be honest, wasn't as tricky as basically the mashing part, if I'm honest. Like, if we didn't have to mash, we'd only need, like, obviously the pot still. Like, we've got it's all the other equipment that you need for mashing that takes up all the space. So we copied Brian with the grinder. It's just like an old feed mill grinder that we do outside because it makes a mess. And then we've got a milk vac that we just basically got secondhand, so that's opened. And then I think the hardest part was just trying to get liquid cooled, heated, moved from one thing to the fermentation tank. So we tend to use plate heat exchangers to cool our stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's times when we first started setting up, it was just the two of us, and we'd be lucky to do one mash in the day, and it was like running around trying to move pipes and all this. And then now we can basically be doing 4 things in one day. But yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, you're pumping it now. Yeah.
So how much volume do you think you're doing these days now that you're a well-oiled machine?
Yeah. Well, we tend to. Well, it's a bit of a juggling game, isn't it? If you keep trying to make more, then you've got less money, and then I feel like it puts pressure on you to then potentially make wrong decisions about how you try and sell it. So we sort of work out how much we sell each year, and then make just to reproduce that, and maybe a few thousand more. So at the moment, what did we do this year? We did about 7,000 litres this year. And then, but we've got capacity to go up to 30. If we wanted to work around the clock, we could probably go to 50 with what we've got, 50,000 litres. But not quite not at that stage yet. But.
Well, we had a question come in from John O'Harris. When do you know if it's good enough? So when do you know if your spirit's good enough to sign off on and put into a barrel? At that early stage when you're just starting, you've only done a few runs. How do you know?
Yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking. Well, someone always said to us that if your new make tastes good, then the whiskey should taste good, kind of thing. So, but we had a few mentors. We sent some down to David Baker, who's not too far away from us. We sent some back up to Brian. We just sort of sent some new make around, always asking for criticism, because obviously it's a lot easier to change things early doors than it is for later. And everyone came back with sort of positive things, nothing to really change. Sam and I both like the same type of spirit. So we wanted something with maybe a bit more balls, a bit more oily mouthfeel. So when we do our distillation part, we sort of cut really deep into our faints just to sort of get that come through. And we also obviously put a bit of peated in there, so that always comes out at the end as well. So
is that that's a Scottish peat?
Yeah, a Simpson peat. Yeah, so we get that ported over.
And so, given that you had no experience in distilling, what about the brewing process and the mashing process?
So that
have you done at least any homebrew?
No, not really, but we did a lot. By the time we started brewing, literally the house was covered in buckets. Some outside, some inside in the garage. Just for us to work out the brewing part, obviously decide on our recipe, because we didn't want to alter our recipe. We wanted to sort of keep the recipe the same as much as we can to try and have that distinctive taste.
Mhm.
So that put a little bit more pressure on the whole brewing part. But yeah, basically we just brewed and brewed and brewed in pretty much a little home kit until we're kind of happy with the recipe, happy with what yeast we used, and then just try to convert that to bigger scale to what we're at.
Because it's not just a case of scaling up as just add more volume, is it? You've different challenges in scaling up from a homebrew kit to tons of barley. Any mistakes? Any critical factors?
Yeah, probably many. I think the biggest part is just trying to, because we're sort of quite open and outdoors and in the bush, just taking the ambient temperature, trying to get the right temperature for when you're doing the mash. Yeah, there was many mistakes. There was one time, because we've got our own spring water that we pump straight in. We're running it over on the mash tun, and we thought, oh, this is all right. We clicked the pipe over, and it was sort of just running through. And Sam and I are like, yeah, let's go down together. We're like, oh, this is a great job. Go down to the lake to turn the pump, and by the time we come off, the clipper came undone, so all the everything just went. So you know what it's like sugary Coke, just all over the floor. Just so you learn.
And the mood changes from, oh, let's go.
Yeah, we're like, we're not doing that again.
Oh, fuck.
And then because we're sort of bigger volumes, you're thinking, oh my God, that's a lot that we've just sort of decided to spray on the floor. But
I guess the first thought would be, oh shit, now I've got to clean it up. Or is the first thought, oh my God, we've just pissed all that money down the drain, or we've got to clean it up? Where did you hover, do you think? Cleaning first and then worry about the cost, or
probably mess first, because I was just thinking flies, because we're in a shed that's open.
Usually,
all the time.
yuck, it's sticky.
Yeah. And what do you do with it? You just hose it away.
Hose it out.
Pretty much.
And pray.
And then one time we had the fermentation tank, and Sam connected the wrong hose from the fermentation tank to the still. He connected it to the out pipe that then goes to the waste tank, and totally emptied 1,600 liters of
fermented goodness.
And you can't recover that.
No, that'd be a funky mess, wouldn't it?
I mean, your Dunderpit's pretty good at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't worry, Bill Lark's done something similar. He told me the story how he's filling the still, and the valve was open at the bottom. As fast as it was in, it was going out.
I'm sure everyone must have done that.
Oh yeah. You could write a book
at least once. Yeah. Epic fuck ups of the
Australian industry. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a movie in that, I think.
Yeah.
Like your cooling system. Make sure you got your water on.
Yeah.
Where's all the steam coming from? Oh shit, the circulation's not on. Freak out.
So what in all those fuck ups, have you now sort of got your mental checklist of before you do everything? How do you now mitigate those issues?
Timers, and we've got a diaphragm pump that pumps out from the mash tun, and so you can kind of hear if it's clogged up or if there's anything. So it goes clunk, 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 clunk. So yeah, just you get used to it, I guess, isn't it? Just stay focused, but most of the time alarms.
Right. So don't get distracted.
Yeah, as much as you can.
So talking of distractions, you work with your significant other on a daily basis in entirely off-grid, middle of nowhere, producing your livelihood. How do you, A, not kill each other, and B, stay sane?
Yeah. Oh, actually, well, I mean, Sam does most of the producing now, so I do most of the sales. So, we do have time apart. So, just managed to work together. Just a good team. He's really strong in parts that I'm not very good at, and then vice versa. So so lucky, really, that we can sort of put up with each other and not, kill each other.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to do that without being killed myself. I think it'd be the bigger issue. Chris Bird, yay, Kinglake, one of the best distillery hosts I've met. And it was so nice to have such a laid-back site visit while the partners chilled out and gas-bagged over coffee.
There you go.
Nice.
Thanks, Christopher.
Yeah, high praise indeed.
Indeed. Now, so how come you got roped into this and Sam got a pass?
That's what he likes to handball all the time. No, he's got the kids tonight. Oh, he's upstairs with the kids. But...
Right. Okay. So what was his background prior to this as well?
Yeah, so he did economics and then owned a couple bars in France, like in a ski resort. So après ski bars, quite crazy.
Yep.
And then I met him while snowboarding, and then we came back and started to do whiskey.
Right. So bars to whiskey, snowboarding, colder climate, Kinglake. I guess it all fits together, doesn't it?
Well, when you live out in Europe in a ski resort, it's quite compact anyway. So maybe that's how the relationship started, not having much space between each other. So
That
coming
would
out
do
here
it.
was, yeah.
That would do it. So you've done, what have we got? 4 releases so far. Can you talk us through each of these that we've got here about what you were thinking?
Cool.
So we've spoken about the O'Grady's stand, that you want to, the bourbon barrels, and then I'm assuming that our full noise is the O'Grady cask strength.
Yep. So we find some barrels that we don't want to reduce the ABV to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Okay. Then you've gone at 60%. So you're barreling. What are you barreling at?
Yeah, 63.5%. So typical. And then so we're obviously losing a bit, but I'm assuming that's just maybe because of the smaller barrels. Hopefully, I don't know, if you get bigger barrels, we won't. We're losing as much ABV. But yeah, at the moment we're losing about 3%.
So you're still using the 50 litre barrels?
Yes. Yep. We were just starting to maybe introduce some of the 100, 110 that we've got. So.
Yeah, right.
But I guess we've got 200 we've got 200 that are coming up to about 5 years next year. So.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
And are they, what sort of a release are you hoping that they'll be?
We haven't quite decided if that just continues on or we make that as a release. It depends. So we try and just have 3. We try and have like 3 continuous whiskies on the go, so shops can sort of rely on that. We'll have the O'Grady stand, which is the ex-bourbon, the cask strength ex-bourbon, full noise, and then potentially another one. At the moment, it's the French oak, which is the blue purple one that you've got.
Yep, the Lupercal release.
No, that was a limited release. You've got the special.
That was the limited release. Oh no, this one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That one, the F2.
Yeah.
So that's the same, but in French oak.
French oak, yeah, and it'll vary. So we sort of thought they're 100-litre cask, those ones. So we just sort of thought you got more of the French oak taste. So that's why we called it French oak. But it's either a port or a sherry of those, or a pear or 20, whatever.
Right. Okay. And one thing I noticed that's quite visible all over your website, sorry, on my other screen over there, and of course on each of the bottles, and I don't think I've seen it on any other bottle from an Australian producer, carbon neutral. Tell us about that, how you achieve that.
Well, I'd love to be fully sustainable, but you just can't be sustainable running a whiskey distillery. Heating, cooling is such an energy sapping kind of process, as everyone will probably know. So obviously we got to use gas to steam the boiler to do the pot still. But we just thought, you know what, because we can't do anything, we shouldn't just not do anything. So yeah, we sort of offset everything that we can't obviously be sustainable with. And then to keep that certification, you've got to commit to reducing your carbon footprint as well. But apart from just doing that, we also donated a third of our property to a charity to turn back to bush, to replant as well. So, really to just go that extra step, basically, to, just try and do as much as we can. So that's how we kind of ended up with that. So we're not sustainable, and we're very open about that because you can't be sustainable, but we just thought we'd try and do something. So with the Climate Active, they will stop something from happening in another place. So you can't tree plant to carbon offset. So you pick a project in the world where they don't want to demolish, and then you pay them to basically not demolish that forest or wherever it is.
Right. Okay. And then how do you, so obviously given the difficulties in being sustainable, how do you continually lower your carbon footprint in a
sustainable way?
In a business sustainable way, but also in a ecologically sustainable way? How do you keep reducing that when you have to use gas for your burners and that sort of thing? How do you find extra?
Well, to get the carbon neutral, we had to send, you get audited. So you send every receipt from day one of setup of the distillery, and then they'll audit your carbon footprint, and then they'll tell you where most of your offsetting, where your carbon footprinting is, and then you can just sort of slowly work on it step by step. So at the moment, our bottles come from France, they're Sabre Glass. Obviously try and find somewhere in Australia. I know there is one company in Australia that's doing some just sort of spirit bottles, but unfortunately they're all 700 at the moment, I think. So if anyone knows of any 500 ones, let us know. I'm always happy to. I even tried to find some, like ale or beer that were doing 500 ml bottles, but again, none of them were manufactured in Australia. So yeah, it's just a slow step. But I think it helps having that that list of where you can kind of start chipping away.
Right. So they help you put together that list, or they put together that list based on what they've seen of your. Yeah. That's a lot of transparency that you've got to have there as well.
Yeah, and it's expensive. It's not a cheap, thing to do either.
Yeah, right. How far through that list do you think you've gotten?
Well, we've been about a year or so. So no, we're still like at the start. There's so many different areas you can kind of reduce, like how you deliver. I guess it kind of helps. We use Ozpost. They pay to do carbon neutral. So yeah, just a process of elimination.
Right. So you're just constantly looking at it wherever there's an opportunity and it's cost effective. See whether it's worthwhile changing a process or changing a provider. So would you actually, if you could find a bottle that was made in Australia, and ticked all those boxes, but it looked entirely different to your current bottle, would you be inclined to shift or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right. That's
we even tried to work out some sort of, return scheme, recycling scheme, but it's just really tricky. We actually in one stage thought we'll use like different bottles, what people bring back, but it's just too, you'd waste more time and money on washing them and water and energy for heating water and things. So.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that we've got the return on the 10-cent thing for cans and for soft drink bottles of all different sizes, but there's including glass bottles for soft drinks.
Yeah, but not for wine or.
But
spirits.
not for wine and not for spirits.
Watch this space.
There's
it's happening.
It's happening
as we speak, isn't it, Chantal?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed. I can imagine wine because you probably go through a lot more wine bottles than spirit bottles, but
not in my house. But But
Well,
yeah,
speaking.
there's a lot of glass there, and there's a lot of opportunity for more recycling to be had. So there is
something underway. It's state by state.
Yep.
So it's not a coordinated national thing. Queensland is further ahead than
really
the other states. Yeah,
okay.
I believe. But yeah, if anyone's interested in that, contact the Australian Distillers Association. They're all over it.
Yeah, right.
Even the state spirit bodies as well.
Yeah, right. I'll be interested to see how that plays out and when it might play out, because I'm just chucking bottles away left, right, and centre. So yes, they go in my recycling bin, but if I give them to the people that rummage through my bins and they can recycle them and get 10 cents for it, I'll be happy to do that too.
Yeah. And be paper in the bin.
Should
be handy.
Maybe. So what's... Oh, hold on. There we go. We've had it come through. Ian, it is in Queensland now. Cool. It's on in Queensland now. Can you elaborate on that, Ian? So Queensland producers can put that on their bottles, or yeah, I'd be interested to know a little bit more, because we've got a few listeners and distilleries that we've spoken to in Queensland. So I'd be interested to find out how people are going to be implementing that into their stock. Curious.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess it only works in Queensland. So
yeah,
once you get it down here, it's not going to be much use to you.
No, that's it. So a new Victorian scheme not accept spirit bottles. Well, to my knowledge, no. And as a Victorian, have you seen or heard? You haven't seen or heard anything about it? No. Okay. Ian, intensive refunds on wine and spirit bottles. Right. Okay. There you go. Queensland, get on it. Mick, heard that a sand water filter that uses your waste old bottles chucked into a smasher that uses as filter sand. Friends of mine ran a bar in Sydney, and they had a bottle crusher, because obviously they were going through 1 billion bottles a week, and I think they used one of these. They were just chucking away sacks of sand constantly. That they were grinding up these bottles. Interesting one, Nick. Yeah.
Question I've got, Chantal. You said you're more on the sales side of it now. So when you first started and you had product, how did you get Kinglake name out there? And I know you had a fantastic response from the bar scene particularly. How did you approach it, and were you surprised of the level of support?
I guess I just started, don't you? We just had one bottle, so that kind of, we had the green one there, Grady Stand, so it just makes it easy to cruise around. You just got the one with you. So we had that one. We only sold that one for the first year and a half before we introduced the black label cask strength and the French oak. Yeah, it just knocked. I think Whiskey and Ale were my first customers, which now on reflection I sort of think, why would you go like straight to the top as your first person? Bit gutsy, but yeah, just started. Just thought, well, this is it. So went there, then Jose and Casa. And Casa went to him pretty much straight after. Again, going for people that are really, really know their stuff. But yeah, just went out there, and then we just sort of Googled independent bottlers, bottle shops. I guess we started selling COVID time, so there wasn't too much action in the bars. So bottle shops was our main target, which was good.
Right.
It was sort of easier to sort of get into. Yeah, and just kept calling around, visiting people, and then, you just sort of start to pick it up. You're obviously nervous at first, and I guess you sort of trust your product, but you're still unsure, you're just learning, aren't you? So, but yeah, as you kind of go around, you just get more confidence, which is what happened. So.
And you had you have a very unique flavor profile. So it's it's got a lot of things going on it. So the
Yeah.
feedback you got straight off the bat was pretty positive, and people were intrigued by it.
Yeah, I think mainly a lot of it because of it being ex-bourbon barrels, I think was a big help. Not too many Aussies was tending to sort of do lots of the more of the French oak. So I think sort of coming out with one product and it only being ex-bourbon sort of gave us a bit more love.
Mm. Well, I love it. I think I've said that a couple of times. I'm interested in your brand and the logo and the way that you've constructed the brand. The font's really interesting that you've used there, and I'd love to know how you came up with that. But also the use of just flat color, no embellishments, no. It's a very striking brand to see on the shelf. How did that come about?
Well, I guess the writing part, we're handmade, so we wanted to keep looking like we're handmade. So that's why sometimes the label might be slightly off kilter, or there might be a mistake on the label. Hopefully everything's, as long as the ABV is correct, then everything else we can get past. We did have a couple ABV mistakes. So we kind of wanted to stay looking handmade because we are handmade. It was one of the biggest aspects. And then I guess when we were setting up, I had my cousin who's a big designer. He lived in Melbourne but now lives in New York, and he was like, what are you? You're Australian, you're young, what's luxury nowadays? It's not about fancy bottles and paying loads for bottles. It's just about being authentic and real. And who you are. So he kind of designed it around that. And so that's where we rolled.
And it's lovely.
Yeah. So I think the bumps is meant to be like corrugated iron because we make it in the shed sort of style. Some people think it's Pac-Man. I don't know. Whatever goes your way. Hello.
Yeah, I was sort of looking at.
I was going Pac-Man. I wouldn't have thought about it. Corrugated iron.
No offense, Todd. The older generation do tend to think Pac-Man, but
anyway. You calling me old?
If the shoe fits.
Oh, why not?
I remember the post you did showing your design, and it was very striking at the time. It was very different than anything else.
Yeah. And the choice to go with a gold foil as well, just to add a little bit of extra cost to your production.
Yeah, I think it was mainly because Kinglake was a bit of a gold mining, or they tried to do a lot of gold mining up here, so it was sort of a bit of that. And the green was obviously the bush at the first start. But my cousin, he's amazing. So he set us in the right foot.
Yeah, no, it is a lovely label, and it is very striking, and yeah, I can see the corrugated iron now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have picked that to begin with. I immediately saw sort of cross stitch. The dots.
Doilies. Are you saying there's doilies?
Not doilies. Although there is an art to a doily.
There is that. I know.
There's an art to a doily, but no, not a doily. But there's the grid that it obviously cuts through. So yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah,
I like the spirit in there as well. We're just drinking at the moment the limited release.
We were on the.
Are we? No, I pulled this one.
Oh, did you?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
No, I pulled, with this one. I think I accidentally skipped that one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. So we're on the American. Tell us about this one.
Well, yeah. So I guess we decided, to try and keep just 3 as consistent products as we possibly can. Mainly because I guess our focus is, much more business to business rather than, getting direct's fantastic. But we are much more business focused. So that's why we had that 3 line. But as fun, we try and do like 2 limited releases a year.
Mhm.
So the Low American, which I've got as well in my hand. So yeah, it's just a bit of a combo. It's a bit of a piggyback off the America in werewolf, the werewolf one we did. There was a bit of some time in ex-bourbon and then some time in the French oak. So that one went really well. So that's why we created that one. This one.
Shit, I missed one then.
Yeah.
I don't
It
have
was a
that in
good
my
one, that one.
Oh, you missed a good one.
God damn it. You must have some extra stock there squirreled away somewhere that I can.
We always keep a couple extras.
Nick, label, I thought it was due to the ghillie suit, camouflage blending into the environment. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah. That also makes sense. Why does he have a ghillie suit?
Yeah. Just sort of like with all the pictures that he's done. So my cousin again did it. My cousin's actually the one wearing the ghillie suit. He just tried to do different stuff where it resembles different parts of the property and how that different parts can impact on the taste of the whiskey. Sort of, there's a water one, there's sort of like the tree one, there's just out in the open one. So he's tried to sort of take that in a more mysterious way. Kinglake's always had this sort of, people say they see Black Panthers and suspicious stuff up here. So we're taking an angle of it being a little bit more mysterious.
That's certainly a thing with Victorians. Victorians love a Black Panther.
Yeah, don't they?
I know that there's one around there's one around Colac, around Stonyford, and
It's probably a sheep.
a black
It's
sheep.
fallen in the mud.
But yeah, I don't know what it is about Victorians. I just bring it up now while we can. There's the ghillie suit.
That's pretty
And he blends in pretty damn well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not Sam in the suit.
No, my cousin.
I'm gonna have to figure out why he has a ghillie suit then, because it's an odd thing to have. If unless it's a paintballer, that could make a bit of sense. But who else has a ghillie suit? And
my
why?
cousin.
What's a ghillie suit? That's a ghillie suit.
I didn't want to ask
You didn't want to ask, but then you did.
That's like a paper bag on my head.
Yeah. It's like it's a camouflage suit. So basically,
I sort of got that.
yeah. But it's called. I don't know why it's called a ghillie suit.
Snipers use it.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, snipers and hardcore hunters and paintballers, they use it. YouTube paintball sniper, and it's brilliant.
I thought it was sort of a Monty Python type thing. Anyway,
Could be.
where's the latest one?
This one. Yeah, a Minister of Silly Walks type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you look a bit silly wearing one, but there you go. I reckon we'll get through a fair bit of that. So this release has only just come out, which is available on the website.
No, the LM one.
The LM one.
No, actually sold out. It went really quick.
Oh, don't
Wow.
don't go talking that one up.
I know.
No.
Sorry.
It's already gone.
Well, look, lucky for those that haven't got one, it's awful.
Wow. How many bottles?
You're not missing anything.
170 bottles from what I can see.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah. How quickly did that disappear?
I think it was done in like a month, that one. So not too bad.
Nice. I mean, you've got to be happy with that sort of a following, that you can put out a release and then it's gone. Does that spur you on to more rapidly put out special releases, or do you go, all right, we've done that, great, we're still going to hold back for our next 6 month or whatever it is release from there?
Yeah, no, hold back, build up some more interest. No, it was positive because obviously sales are harder to get nowadays at the moment. You still get them, but you feel like you got to work a lot harder to get the sales. But when we did that special release and there was lots of interest that kind of made us feel like, yeah, okay, we're still making progress, you know. So they were quite happy about that. So
Yeah. So what do you think will be your next special release, and when could we expect that?
So we'll probably do one at the start of the year-ish, so maybe April time. We've got a few. We haven't quite decided yet. Yeah, haven't quite decided. We've got some like vermouth barrels and some really sort of out there crazy barrels, but we're very conscious of maybe not trying to do too many crazy barrels because we don't want to be known for that. You know, we want to be sort of like a whiskey that's just a go-to sort of whiskey that, you know, that's. So yeah, don't know. Haven't decided yet. We were discussing that the other day, but no, there's no. We'll see what that all tastes like after the summer.
Yes. Yeah. Are you in bushfire region there? Is that a concern for you?
Yeah. We'll kind of probably, you know, that big fire that hit 2009. So we'll probably one of the worst places that got hit there. So yeah, it is always a risk of being up in Kinglake.
Right. And how? So is your bond store on close by, or is that in a separate area, or how do you handle that considerable risk?
Yeah, we've got like a good. Well, obviously having the natural spring that feeds the lake, so we've kind of got a big water license. So we've got the pumps and that all set up. We're kind of where bushfires tend to run. We've kind of got a lot of sort of bit of farming around us, so it's not like we're right back onto the national park. So yeah, fingers crossed. Really, there's not much more you can do with it.
Yeah, right. Well, definitely fingers crossed, because I want to sample those other releases.
Maybe we'll have to go underground one day. You know.
There would be a number of old mines around the area, wouldn't there? Gold mines.
Yeah, but they're more like shafts, unfortunately. So they sort of we've got a few near our property, but yeah, not just sort of they drop down rather than in.
Yeah, right. That would be interesting, because that'll be the future of aging, won't it, Australia? You won't be able to do it above ground. You'll have to do it.
It's good enough for Taiwan.
Indeed.
Underground.
Carvaland have gone underground.
Have they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I believe so. Yeah.
There's a lot of work in building an underground bond store. I guess yes, they would have the money.
Money, of course. Yeah.
We're scrounging around for ex-gold mines that actually go horizontal rather than vertical, whilst they're just digging holes. How many gold service experiences have you had come through? So looking on the website, the gold service experience is a helicopter transfer from Melbourne, roughly a 25-minute flight, then a full detailed internal ledger of every barrel currently aging, and pick one to sample, a cast strength bottle from any of those barrels, or one of the special releases, plus a fill your own 20-litre barrel to store at the distillery, and lunch with your lovely self. How many?
It's good to get lunch.
Yeah, I mean, at least you get lunch. Yeah.
You'd be hungry after all that.
Yeah. That sounds like an amazing day.
Yeah, that's a huge package.
Yeah. At a rock bottom price of $8,400. Have you had a few takers on that?
No. We were going to take it off. Well, we just Googled it and we thought, oh yeah, we could do this, and then sort of planned it, had it all sort of, you know, what we'd do if someone did take it. And then we thought, oh, no one's taking it. We're going to take it off. But one of the Adam that used to work at Boilermaker House in Melbourne, he saw it and I was like, yeah, I was just going to take it off. He's like, no, it's great. I love it. So we kind of just left it on, but no one's taken it.
Oh. I'm going to have to
one day
words with people and see if we can organise that, because that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I thought it'd be fun.
You'd probably get caught flat-footed though. That's
Cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah.
Someone rings up and say, "Yeah, I want to do it in 2 days," and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit."
Yeah.
Oh,
No, we have caterers and stuff that we already like researched. So if someone did order it, we could pretty much do
you
it
can
straight
put it
away.
together fairly quickly. So,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
We're on the plane. We're on the way up.
yeah, for those that want it, jump onto the website. Putting it on the screen there, kinglakedistillery.com.au. Jump onto the Let's Shop and the Gold Service experience. And that's for 4 people. That's not for one. That's 4 people. That's a good day. That's a damn good day. With a 20-litre barrel.
Yeah.
We can scrounge that together, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
No? Yes?
Sponsorship's
Do
going
it.
up, Nick.
Yeah,
Do it.
sponsorship is getting more expensive. There we go.
Went down the wrong way. I'm joking.
What, on the sponsorship?
Oh,
No, they get their money's worth. Including those that don't pay.
so you'd be getting down to Melbourne quite a bit, wouldn't you? That would be your sort of your area you focus on, or are you going
Yeah.
you said you're going interstate tomorrow?
Yeah. So yeah, I tried to obviously Melbourne's easy because it's sort of an hour away. So yeah, we do go to Melbourne lots, and then I try and spread around, but it's quite hard to try and be in Perth and everywhere. So I sort of just then focus back on Melbourne. But no, I definitely still try and get around in a few places in Sydney. Adelaide are great. And then Brisbane, we've just had a couple people start buying it as well, like bottle shops. So yeah, so heading up to Malt Traders South Bank tomorrow for a tasting.
Okay, everyone, if you're in
Malt Traders South
you're in
Bank.
Brisbane,
Yeah.
I'll see if
You got
there's a
nothing to
link
do
for
this
that.
weekend.
Yep.
I think it's 4 to 6, I think, in the afternoon. So it's
All right, I'll bring that up. I'll find that. We've had a question come in from Nick Hope. Hello,
Okay.
Nick. Are you looking to do a collab with another big distillery, or are you going to stay with solo releases?
yeah, no, always happy
He's
to.
obviously asking for
He's
a friend.
fishing. He's fishing.
So-
We never say no. So yeah, always hit us up. We're always happy to discuss stuff.
Excellent. So I can see a rice whiskey Kinglake collab going on there. I think that'd be interesting. I'm trying to find this. Oh, here we go. Tastings, whiskey tastings, just so I can bring it up and put the link in for people who are in the area. It's not on their fucking website.
Oh, well, there you go. I'll have to hit Ryan about that.
Yeah. Hit him hard because it's not on the website. I cannot link to it. But so it is at the Malt Traders. Which store? Which location? The South Bank.
South Bank. Yeah.
So South Bank, Queensland. Yes, get in that and taste the. So are you taking the full range up, including the special release, or
No, just the 3 because there's nothing to
just
sell
the
at the
3?
Yeah.
Oh, you can tease people with it. Say this is what you missed out.
Oh, good take some.
I'm quite happy to say this is what you missed out on. I've got a full bottle of Namby.
Well, it was good enough for Waterford to do.
Yeah, Waterford
Yeah.
do tastings, and you
We
can't
went to
buy
a
their
tasting.
shit.
They had this this peated whiskey. It was fantastic. And they said, "Oh, by the way, it's not in Australia." Great. Why are you giving it to me then?
Namby,
for that.
Namby. Because I can.
It was good. It
Mm,
was fantastic. So.
absolutely. So, what's your when you're not drinking and sampling your own product? What's your go-to dram at the moment?
Yeah. I like gospel if I'm going for a rye whiskey. Otherwise, what do I go for? I don't know. People ask that question all the time. And if I'm honest, I can never give an answer because it kind of depends what mood I'm in with what kind of whiskey I feel like, So if I feel like
Well, it's getting hot. It's getting really hot. Summer's here. It's a 40-degree day. and the only thing you have to drink is a whiskey. There's nothing else cold left in the fridge, so you've got to go for a spirit. What do you reach for?
On a hot day, probably the Sullivan's Cove, like a double second fill, maybe ex-bourbon, if I had it on the shelf.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
I
choice.
tend to go more maybe barrel focus, so more, maybe Tasmanian ones or Amber Lane. We had one, maybe more winter. I tend to go that and more French oak, but probably summer I would go more American oak, ex-bourbon. But again, it just depends what mood I'm in. I can't really. I know it's not very.
I know the
definite
feeling.
answer, but yeah, you sort of
No, I
you
know
open
the
up the
feeling.
cupboard and you
Change
go, "What
the
do I feel like?" Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You two, how do you feel about massive huntsmen?
Not so fond. Thanks for
not a
sharing.
snake.
No, it's not a snake.
It's not massive, but if it jumps on me,
Well, he wasn't
might
there
be some
before. He
screaming.
wasn't there before, and he looks poised to
Do something.
to pounce.
How weird's that? I've got one that just crept up on my wall as well. It's like literally, you came on just about 20 minutes ago. I looked down and I'm like, oh my god, there's a huntsman on the wall. Like, yeah.
I was just looking around, like, oh, hold on.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that one. I
Yeah.
it was there.
Well, I thought, look, forewarned is forearmed.
That's right. Hanging down in front of my eyes.
Or 8 armed, or 6 arms. How many is he? Yeah, he's got 6.
He's got 6 arms.
He's got all of them. He's a fat fucker too, that one.
He's about to lay some.
Oh, don't tell him. Don't lay any fucking eggs.
Yeah, that's all right. I've got one.
It's the season for it, though, isn't it? Do you have a lot of creepy crawlies that you're dealing with in the brew house?
Yeah, and snakes. Yeah. How do you deal with snakes?
Yeah. We had a snake that a tiger snake that crept in the guttering right at the front door of like this little bar section that we have and just got stuck there. And it just put its head up through the little gap, and we tried to get it out. Sam washed water, but obviously you put cold water, so it got even colder and just froze. And we sort of thought, we left it a couple days, and it still was stuck in there. So we ended up having to like sort of break the guttering and just stick it out. So definitely the elements.
Right, and I mean,
lots of spiders.
Yeah, right. Tiger snakes are not something you really want to mess with at the best of times.
No.
Trying to get one out of guttering under duress.
You just leave it there.
Yeah, you're quite worried about what he's going to do now, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want him up there. I don't really. I'm not fond of spiders. I come from a country where they don't hurt you.
There's not a lot that can, other than orcs.
Oh yeah, it's 1 or 2 of those. Yeah, you're right.
New Zealand joke.
Yeah. So you got any travel plans, Chantal?
Yeah.
Going overseas? You want any more learnings going overseas? Yeah.
Going overseas for holiday, not probably particularly learning. We're going over to the UK, so I'll probably drink more scotch, I guess, to just learn. It's not that big, I imagine. My one's only about that big on the wall.
It's getting bigger the more I look at it. Where is it? Oh, you can't even see it.
Where's your Coke bottles?
Oh, they're long gone.
Yeah,
it's not
that's probably why you.
That thing.
Yeah, him. Yeah. You don't touch him.
Touch it, you womble.
Oh, God, you're wusses.
If it jumps on me, you'll know what a wuss is.
If he jumped on you and then you're going, oh, fucking shaking your arms everywhere, that'd be fucking hilarious.
A way to finish a show.
I have redbacks.
Yeah.
Redbacks are fine. I don't mind those. I have an issue with these ones.
No, redbacks. I was doing
they've got bones.
Measuring.
I know they feel crunchy when you
doing an ABV. I had a beaker of New Make Spirit, and a redback fell into it, and it was a big bastard, and he was just fighting all the way down. You could swear he was going fuck. Then I got an Anton Par.
He died very happy though, didn't he?
I mean, what a one.
Yeah.
Talk about pickle.
Oh yeah, no, I got spiders. I got spiders are a real worry. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And do you have snakes as well, or?
I haven't yet,
Mm.
but I've been warned.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure they're around there. You
Oh
should
yeah,
be-
yeah,
Need to be careful when you pick up pellets and things out in the backyard.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Pardon me.
Do you do anything to try and keep the critters away, or is there anything that you think can be done? You just deal with it.
Yeah, just deal with it. They're fine. You know.
Make a lot
part
of
of-
noise.
Yeah, it's just part of living outside, isn't it?
Chris, if it was big, it'd be a female redback. So she was going fuck, 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 fuck all the way down.
Yeah.
The males are small and spindly, and they get eaten after they've got some.
We've done their bit, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for the nature lesson there. So when's your UK trip, and are you going specifically to taste booze, or will you stay away from the distilling scene?
Oh no, it's always tasting booze. That's how you learn, isn't it? You know, I sort of you know, you already like whiskey before you get into it, but the more you get in, the more you sell, and the more you talk to people, and the more whiskey you drink, the more excited I actually get into whiskey again. I can really see what it's like for the people on the other side, because I'm that person most of the time as well. So no, there'll be lots of whiskey sampling. That's definitely.
So on that sort of note, are there any Australian distillers that you've seen sort of doing something that you're like, oh, that's interesting, or that's something I hadn't thought of doing? Have you seen anything locally that's piqued your interest?
Some ways of doing the mashing, some people do it, but in taste wise, no. I guess I get more into like the business and building the brand side of things, you know, sort of like for us, we'll look at gospel and think, you know, they know what they want to do, they know where they want to be, you know, and they are a rye whiskey, you know, sort of I think great role models in that sort of sense of trying to build a brand from nothing.
Yeah, right. So you see gospel as a role model. Have you got any other role models or my brain is not working? Mentors in the industry that you look to?
Yeah,
I guess.
Support. I'm not for support. I guess to look at it's probably an obvious one, but Sullivan's Cove, how they can go about sort of doing their business. One, it's very impressive how they just sell everything direct, no wholesale. But yeah, how they've got their price, not because they wanted to set the price, but because they are actually, there is scarcity, you know, but yeah, just how they can just sort of be players, not try and show off or anything, but just make really good whiskey and just sort of do their thing on the side. Like, I think it's impressive.
They are definitely an interesting brand that I do think a great stand apart from others in that they seem to just run their own race. Doesn't matter what everybody else is doing or what approach they're taking or what they're making or how they're making it. They just keep putting out barrel after barrel after barrel, and it's gone. And if you were lucky enough to get on the ballot, good for you.
Yeah. I think it's impressive.
Aspirationally, I think that's the dream.
To win the ballot and be able to buy a bottle.
To win the ballot and be able to buy the bottle, yes.
That's aspirational.
That's aspirational
Being
enough.
on the ballot, that's
I've had one bottle and I didn't appreciate it enough when I had it.
Same.
I drank it and then
prior to the world hitting the fan.
That's it. It was prior to them winning World's Best Whiskey or whatever it was, and then just skyrocketing in value and demand. And at that point, I'm like, fuck, I drank that really quickly. And I should not have done that. But I also firmly believe that whiskey should be drunk.
That's right.
And an empty bottle is an unappreciated bottle. So, on that note, all of your bottles are open. and well appreciated. So thank you very much
Thank
for putting them out in the world for me to drink and sample. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you also for joining us. It's been lovely to have you on.
Long last, we had a few misfires, but we got there in the end.
We got there.
We did, and I'm very pleased to have done so. And hopefully I'll be able to get down to visit you at some point. I will be doing the Melbourne Drive over Christmas. I'm not sure I'll get there this time, but I think I'll definitely be making an effort to catch a helicopter.
Yeah, do it. You'll be our first one. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I don't need both kidneys. Why?
You'll be VIP.
Yeah, I need my liver. I need that most certainly, but a kidney I can probably do without. Thank you all for joining us. We may be back.
We may be back in 2 weeks, but I just need to touch base with.
It's the silly season, and people are busy as anything. Just before we go, what have you got coming up? So you've got the tasting this weekend. Are there any other tastings before Christmas?
Any events you're doing?
Any events, any markets, what are you doing? Where can people find you?
We are going to do the Kinglake Twilight Market, which is on Sunday the 17th. So it's nice to do that one. It's just a local market that we go to. We only do it at Christmas time, the same one every Christmas. So that's what else. Otherwise, if you want to click and collect, you always can. Just put Lakers in the promo section if you're local.
Right. So Lake in the promo if you're local. All right. I'm posting.
Local,
and if you lie, you get caught out.
Lie, you pay double.
As they posted up to us.
So I've just posted a link for everyone into the chat. I'll flick it up on a banner as well. The Kinglake Market, by the looks of it. I think that's the right website.
Yes, that
I'm sure it's the only one.
Yeah, yeah.
Where was it? There we go. kinglakemarket.com.au. So you'll be there. They're obviously in Queensland. Thanks, Phil. Another very enjoyable chat to listen to and watch because we're good-looking people. Well, some of us are.
Put yourself down.
It's quick.
Cool. Got that one.
It's quick. Thank you all. Please like and subscribe, all those fun things. Hang around for our sponsors, and we may see you in 2 weeks. Otherwise, it'll be sometime in the new year. We'll be back with episode 73. Let's shoot for 100. All right. Catch us all. Thank you again for joining us, Chantal. It has been lovely. Stick around.
Thank you, Chantal.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.